I went to Target today. I didn't even know that there were new Trainer Team figures out, and yet here we are. They have released Flygon and Toxtricity. Just so we're clear, one of my favorite dragon types, one of my favorite electric types, and probably my favorite poison type. I adore both these Pokemon. Toxtricity, probably in my top 10. Flygon, probably in my top 20. These guys are some of my absolute favorite figures ever, or rather, favorite Pokemon ever. So much so that when the battle feature figures for these guys came out, I snatched them up and did reviews of them. So here we are now. We have a 6-inch articulated version of both. That's kind of awesome to me. Now, I want to figure out which one to review first, because rest assured, we're going to review both. We might as well go with seniority though. I think Flygon is today. Just taking a look at the box, it looks nice. You can see Flygon here in the bottom. You can see the figure very well. Trainer Team sticker here on the side, just another window. You can see that Series 7 consists of these two, plus Entei that I've not seen yet, and a re-release of Tyranitar. And on the back, just another picture of Flygon. That's the box out of the way. Let's talk about the figure. So, the Jazwares line, they're Trainer Team figures. We've been over this before. They can be hit or miss. Sometimes they're amazing. Sometimes I wish they could do a little bit more. Flygon, I'm happy to say, one of the best ones I've ever messed with. I really, really adore this figure. I think it's right up there with Articuno and Charizard for me. Granted, not as articulated as the Charizard, but I think they make the most out of this very weird design. Keep in mind, Flygon's design, if you don't know, it's supposed to be a dragonfly. So, dragon type, Flygon, dragonfly. There we go. But yeah, I love just the overall look of this figure. You can even get them on their feet off the tail somewhat, which is really cool. I was not expecting that. The head sculpt is also just perfect. I think Flygon, when it comes to doing them, the things that are the most important for their design are the wings and the head. I think both of those details have been captured perfectly, and I love how clear the eyes are underneath the goggles. There's also a good bit of articulation on the go. So you have a universal in the head, you have a universal down here in the neck, you just gotta work it a bit. You have a hinge on the wings, universals in the shoulders, I guess you could say these are shoulders, boop. And then you have a simple elbow, but it goes both ways. You have a universal at the wrist. The fingers feel like they should articulate, and there's even a hinge for it, but they're very stiff. You have up and down at the legs. You have a ball joint at the foot, and then here in the tail you have a ball joint, a ball joint, a ball joint, and a ball joint. So you have a 4-segmented tail, and I thought that this might be its own separate piece, but no, I think this is all just one continuous piece, and the ball joint is just buttery smooth. But at the end of the day, that is a lot of articulation for Flygon, and I think that's the best way to go about it. You really can't get much in the arms or the legs, so focus on giving you a lot of articulation in the neck and the tail so we can get some good flying poses. I absolutely love how this figure looks already, but it becomes a little bit better when you realize they included the flight stand. Using that flight stand, you really can get some great flying poses, even if you want to do something more tranquil like this, or if you want to do more of an action fight. Let's see here. I'm going to pull this forward, send this back. Oop, there we are. Maybe bring the claws out more, make the head a little bit more angry, and then let's have the tail up. There we go. So a little bit more action-oriented there. Flygon's design is always going to be just a little bit on the cute side, so they're never going to look super edgy dark. But I really like just how versatile this figure is. And it's even better just because the battle feature, the gimmick Flygon, this was already one of my favorite of the Jazwares line. They basically just took this design, made it bigger, and gave it more articulation. That's all you needed for it, really. I feel like I've been really down on Jazwares lately, and I need to say this again. When they get it right, I think that they're the best Pokemon company out there, at least when it comes to the action figures. I love my Jazwares Pokemon collection, even if the figures aren't always all that good. And I do my best to be even with my criticism. If the figures are great, I'll praise them. If the figures aren't so great, I'll point it out. But Flygon is wonderful. One of my favorites from this Battle Team, Trainer Team series. I would put it up there with Charizard, Articuno, Garchomp, all my favorite ones. And when you have a design as great as Flygon's, especially when they're not as popular as some of the other Pokemon, getting this action figure is wonderful. I would have never guessed or expected them to do Flygon in this series, especially when they haven't even gone to all the starters yet. And yet, now that we have it, I'm so taken with it. It is my favorite Pokemon figure I've messed with in a long while, and another reminder that Jazwares, when they want to, when they have the design right and the articulation figured out, they can make some of the best action figures on the market today. That just leaves one question for me, and that is, how will Toxtricity turn out?